got myself ready for speaking to the camera and trying my very best to be diving deep as much as possible. So this video could very well be just for myself. I had lunch with Camille, a really good human being, the acting director, the only acting director I've ever known, who's really made his work in Netflix and he's opened a class, acting classes, Hug acting classes, and I asked him for advice because I had such a huge idea on the law of large happiness, and I thought I could make like Hollywood films out of it and eventually, you know, have a timeless way of doing marketing. And he gave me some good advice, and one of them is to talk about why I started the law of large happiness. Because I wrote it in the slides and they were very much like the placeholder. That means I'm just putting it there because I have to put it there, and I gave 3 very simple reasons. They were not really mine. I mean, it's kind of everybody. It's human. That's the first. That's one. It's essential, and it's beautiful. Those are the 3 things that I came up with. It's not that they are not true. It's just that I didn't really, you know, specify to my audience why is it really important for an audience. You know, Camille was asking, you know, if I know absolutely nothing about the law of large happiness, so I kind of need a story here, and I kind of need to understand how this works, how this like really works for him. And he asked me to just you know, be more specific, go into details and stuff like that. And he also like kind of guided me to figure out what is my best mode of verbalizing. Could be penning. I mean, now penning is like this, right? Instead of just like or yeah, it's not about text. So it, you know, it can also be audio and stuff. And I realized that I like speaking to the camera because I can review it later and I can watch myself talking to me. And it's a scary thing coming to the reason why, because, you know, I always expect it to be like 100% convinced about why. And I can tell you very honestly, it's not possible for me to know exactly why. I know there are many tendencies as to how I want to get this whole thing started. Like, you know, there are just some innate sensing that I just cannot stay too long in a very fixed environment, and I want to be like an entrepreneur. I want to really build things. I want to see things grow, and very few corporate solutions are like that at this point in time. Or rather, I'm not in a position to be able to influence the growth of a company. You know, like with that kind of impact as a like versus an entrepreneur. So why? I think really if I have to, I'm really gonna pause a lot, because I'm not even intending to give this out to the public. So I just want to get to do the essence of it. How it first came to me, the term, the law of large happiness, is because I was so sick of sales. The law of large numbers. You know, if I just clock in the hours, I could totally get at least something. And I started to hate the idea because I really feel very stressed in trying to do it that way. You know, just clocking in the numbers, and like it will give you that probability of a chance to make money and make a living, so that you can be stable enough to make an impact and do the things that you want to do way after you're stable with your finances and stuff. I really didn't like that. I was discussing with my angel investors about some of my tendencies that is kind of according to my worldview. I haven't quite got it, but there was a tendency that was kind of obvious. I mean, I came out into this world in a very harsh way. I was out of breath, stuck in a water bag because it burst before I was ready to be born. And by the time I came out, almost 24 hours later, it was completely like vacuum. So I had no breath, and the doctor, the gynae, had to use a forceps to press me out of my mom because my mom was not fully dilated, so they had to cut and stuff. It was so I felt that, I mean, I was trying my best to experience that as a baby, and my first point of existence was pretty much in panic, you know, where something was squeezing me so hard that I had the shape of a mango. My head was at the shape of a mango when I came out, and I was kind of blue because I was out of breath. So it's kind of instinctive fear that I had to survive. And that was my first worldview. It's kind of like there's no space and no place for me to breathe. So, you know, it's kind of sharp the way I entered the world. And that led me to really have a lot of like different moments in my life that I can't quite figure out yet. But if I were to really try my best to find a reason why this law of large happiness is really in place, it could be another worldview, by the way. That was what my angel investors said. Maybe it's the wrong worldview to look at what my uniqueness can be and what I can co-create with them. And I really don't know, but I want to attempt to define, to share the reason why the law of large happiness has to exist. I feel the depth of my suffering. I don't know if I can feel the depth of the suffering of humanity. That's kind of like really massive. But I'm very willing to experience the layers in terms of emotions. because that helps me to understand life and to want to live my life to the fullest, because it's such a, to me it's a real waste of time if I'm always going with what the mainstream is after and doing a lot of things very mindlessly, no self-awareness about anything, not even to enjoy a piece of food, whatever it is, whether it's like a McDonald's nuggets or fries, yeah, they are really junk food and stuff, but if you can truly taste that, that ecstasy of eating junk food, I think that's really good enough. Nobody needs to, I don't feel the need to be like totally zen and stuff, you know. I try my best, I exercise every day, and I kind of complain every day that I'm growing fat and stuff, but it doesn't stop me from wanting to enjoy the food that I want to eat. And I honestly can be more self-aware when I eat my food, because sometimes I'm just like rushing through it, or it's so enjoyable that I just like, whoa, gobble down everything. But my whole point is that I really feel the need to live my life to the fullest, because that's the entire experience that I've been going for. I don't know what kind of like I don't know whether religion can help anybody to understand this, but I see very clearly that there's so many things in this world that is tricking me into wanting more, and that kind of more is not gonna help me live my life to the fullest. There are some material things that I want more. I really want a Porsche. I really love to be in that car and like really feeling how it looks and everything. So material gains is not something out of the equation, but is to really get to the point where that is something I really want, rather than, you know, getting a house, getting a car, getting a family, getting this, getting that, getting high salary, getting all this, condo, whatever. Are those things really making me live to the fullest? I'm not sure. And that's why I want to have a formula in the law of large happiness to help myself at least, and a few other people that are close to me, to have a full awareness on their true happiness, on their highest quality of happiness, and let's optimize our time, at least in this lifetime, to achieve that. I hope this is the simplest way I can figure out, because there's really nothing more like that I want. You know, that Porsche has always been on my mind, but living in Singapore, you know, it costs my health, it costs so much just to have 10 years of that or less if you buy a second hand and stuff, versus, and they don't even have enough roads for that. You know, if you talk about Germany, you can really use your Porsche in a really good way. There are some areas where you can drive without speed limit and stuff like that. So, you know, all these things are included in the law of large happiness, where I try to formulate something like a mathematician, to be consistent with finding out what is everyone's unique sense of the law of large happiness. I mean, like, what is really considered quality in their happiness, and then let's find a personalized solution towards that. And I'm trying my best to use this whole term, this idea, you know, in the areas that I've already experienced, especially my career experiences, where I talk about, you know, job redesign, coaching, mentoring, in trying to figure out what can be really be the lean mode of the lifestyle needs, and there are many more to come. And I also like have, you know, I really enjoy my charisma. I don't know whether it's for sales, but definitely for networking and trying to share my idea, because I'm gonna have to work with so many people, especially in the Gen AI field, where I need so much data collection so that I can, you know, roughly like test my theory in that sense. And to achieve this whole social standard for ESG, so that, you know, something tangible for all of us to understand that it really works. But all in all, it's about us. It's about me. It's about you. It's about individuals. And I hope to have a formula that when you input your own numbers, your own variables, your own desires, your own conditions, your own whatever, it would turn out to be something that is very clear. You know, the answer is just like that, and then you can spend decades of your life to work towards that. Because it's not linear. The moment you find it, maybe the next step can be still pretty much of a challenge. But after that, it gets smoother and smoother, because, you know, it's like driving. But the first gear sounds really heavy, but by the time you hit the 5th, 6th, 7th gear, you know, I come from Volkswagen, so I know the 7th gear, it's gonna be so easy, you know, for you to drive, and there's momentum. You can use kinetic energy, and then you don't really have to keep on like gearing yourself into it again. That's how it works, you know. And there's so much more to enjoy besides food, shelter. It's the community. It's so interesting for me to be interacting with so many people. And I'm not even interacting enough, honestly. I feel that there's so many more people out there that I can really talk to and enjoy all these experiences. But every one of us is so different on how to keep our radiance alive, how to keep our spirit up. Some people are so happy to just relax in one corner and stuff like that. I do that too, but my interactions are the ones that really get me inspired and in trying to, you know, make a fuller experience in the law of large happiness. But I think through speaking in the camera or towards the camera, I start to understand why. And I hope in the next moments, we will also be able to understand why together. I'm not going to wait for the perfect answer in order to roll out all these things. You know, the artists, like the artistic people in this world, they have never waited for a perfect whatever masterpiece they were going for in order to like showcase. They just do it, and then it just happens to be magical all the time because they just trust it. And I'm taking all the steps in order to just trust it, because my artistic masterpiece that I'm trying to build is also very, very tangible for all of us. I am the bridge, and I'm bridging between the arts and the sciences. I am not very sure whether I can go to the extreme where the artistic world is like just full on no logic, that kind of thing. But I'm definitely very clear that I don't want to stay just being logical and you know, being structured and everything. Although I believe I'm pretty good at it, but I want to merge. I think more and more I realize that I love to marry things that are not really in connection at the moment. So connecting the dots is one, but they're generally the dots that are kind of opposing each other. So I don't know where this is going to take me, But today's intention has been met because I just want to figure out why I started the Law of Large Happiness. And if you see this video, I'm really thankful because I have been trying to be so raw. And if you see anything that is funny in my background or even myself, you know, please forgive me, because I honestly would like to be very raw with this video. And if it really makes sense to share with the next person, I'll post it live. If it doesn't, it will stay with me. So I thank you very much for tonight, if it ever gets on a video. And I'm glad that every time I choose to make a video, it always makes sense after that. That's the faith. So good night, and I will see you soon. Bye.